Hi there, I'm James Osborne, the co-founder of the Recruitment Network, and this is the TRN Podcast. Every week, we unpack the strategies, the technologies, the processes and mindsets fueling today's top-performing recruitment agencies. We take a look behind the scenes of some great recruitment businesses. We listen to the real-life stories of those who have built those businesses, and we learn from some of the industry's greatest thought leaders to help you become both future fit and future relevant. So let's begin with this next episode of the TRM Podcast. Firstly, lovely to see you all as always, and thanks for coming along today. Those of you who I haven't met before, my name is James Osborne. I'm a non-exec director and advisor to the recruitment sector and co-founder of the Recruitment Network. We run these sessions all the time, obviously for members. We do some more in-depth stuff with the members, but we also do these particular sessions that you're on today to allow some guests to come and join us. I think it's an opportunity for guests to get a sense of what TRN's all about and what we do, but also hopefully learn a few things that you can take away and put into practice today. So I'll try and keep it as practical as possible. I've got a slide deck that I put together. I will share the slide deck with you all afterwards. So you'll all have a copy of the slides, and we are recording today's session as well. So the full recording will be up on the TRN Well platform later on for everyone to be able to access. We've also got lots of other stuff that we're going to share with people throughout the course as we go. So I'll ping that out to you as we go. So let me share my screen with you all, and let me run through what I want to sort of talk about today. We're going to talk about AI. Now, obviously, whenever I do AI sessions, there's 1,000 different angles that we can take with this. So I'm going to try and make it fairly practical and just give you things to take away. For those of you, you're all on different. In fact, let me ask a quick question actually to make it easy for I understand. Just in the chat, can you all just give me a number out of 10? Based on how on top of AI are you? 10 being you're absolutely killing it. You're basically Elon Musk on steroids. 0 being you've got absolutely no idea what AI is all about. You don't even know why you're here in the first place. And then everywhere in between. So let me give me a sense of who's on the call. So, okay, it looks like we've got sort of a fairly, don't take this the wrong way, anyone, entry-level team group of people here, so which is fine. A couple of you a little bit in the 6s and 7s, a few of you in the sort of 3s and 4s and 5s. Okay, fine. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. I don't think anybody by the looks of things has got it completely sussed yet. But there will also be people on the call who are still fairly trying to get their head around it as well. So fair enough. Okay, cool. Thank you for all being very honest, those of you who marked it as a 2. So hopefully I can turn your 2s into 5s and your 5s into 8s and your 7s. Who knows where we'll go with that. So let's talk a little bit about tech, talk about AI, talk about how it actually implicates into the recruitment sector, and most importantly, what you actually do with this, because there's a lot of hype. There is a lot of talk about AI at the moment, as I'm sure you're aware. There's a hell of a lot of people selling you lots and lots of stuff about AI. I'm convinced there's more people selling AI tools to the recruitment sector than there are recruiters now. So we just need to be a little bit careful about what we're actually buying, what we're actually doing. Do we actually need to buy anything for that matter? And what's actually making a difference and what's making an impact to how we're running our desks as recruiters, how we're running our businesses as recruitment leaders as well. So I'll give you my sort of take on it. I'll put a bit of a backdrop to this as well, to explain why I'm going to talk what I'm going to talk about, and I'll come on to that in a second. Just before I do, while I've got everyone on the call, it gives me a good chance just to let everyone know what some of the things that are going on across the recruitment network at the moment. As you know, or hopefully you know, we're a large global community of recruitment business leaders, businesses, and advisors and mentors. And our job is to help our members maximize performance, productivity, and profitability. So if you're not a member of TRN, come and join the club. Come and get involved. We have 3 tiers of membership: Solo, Plus, and Club, and we'd love to welcome you into TRN. We're doing a hell of a lot at the moment across the network and across the recruitment sector, because there's so much going on, so much change happening across our industry, but at the same time, a huge amount of opportunity. I can't tell you how much I love periods like this. It's so exciting, and we're seeing some amazing businesses being born off the back of that. For those of you that are members of TRN, just to remind you of some of the things that are coming up at the moment, do speak to member support about these things. We've launched the Velocity Playbook now. That's now live and out and about, which is our brand new BD playbook for 2026. The reason why it's different from the previous playbooks that we created last year and the year before is because obviously now there's AI in it as well. So we're bringing AI into the whole Velocity framework as well. We've also got the whole training manual as well that I'm happy to share with you. So if you want to deliver it as a training course internally alongside the playbook, you're going to get all the slide deck as well that you could use and place out with your team. If any of you are interested, either scan the code or just give us a yes or a thumbs up in the chat, and we'll make sure we'll send you a copy of the Velocity playbook. So you've got a copy of that, and you can see how the AI agents that we're going to talk about today fit into the sort of your BD strategy. So just scan the code or give us a thumbs up or a yes in the chat, and we'll make sure the team get that sent across to you. The next course of traction is launching very soon. which is our 4-week AI development program, all completely free. All these things are free for members. There's no cost for anything. This is a live program that we're running. It's been absolutely brilliantly well received. We're building some amazing stuff where we actually build agents together. You own the agents, they're your agents that you're building live, etc. So it's a 4-week program. So make sure you're booking on the next cohort of that. Same thing with the social scaling program, our 4-week personal branding program. Next cohort will go live soon. It's 100 people generally on each cohort. So make sure you're booking onto the social scaling course and come and join me on that. The Pinnacle program, I'm sure you're familiar with. That's something I've been talking about until I'm blue in the face at the moment because it's so exciting, which is basically this whole movement about how to convert your margins from 18% to well over 35%, and how to do that, especially around some of that talent consultancy type work. So again, if you want any of these playbooks, just give us a yes in the chat and a thumbs up, whatever, and we'll ping that stuff across to you. And we're just about to launch JobSync as well. Some of you will be familiar with this. Which is an amazing platform that we've built in partnership with some of our friends, which allows you to basically pull in jobs from all other places, share jobs, and all sorts of things besides as well. So, and you'll see some really exciting things coming off the back of that. So not only are we showing you how to win business through the Velocity Playbook, we're also actually feeding you business as well at the same time, which is sort of going to be pretty cool. So make sure you're reaching out and looking out for all that type of stuff. The new accelerator reports are now live and available, so you'll now be getting those for each of you individually. So we're doing an ongoing live deep dive of your business to let you know where there are gaps and where there are opportunities for you to develop, as well as some of the market insights and the accelerator insights that we're creating that we're sharing with members as well. So lots of data and insights into what's really working in the market at the moment and how to do so. We've got the retreat coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So if any of you are coming along to that, looking forward to seeing you. If you're not coming along to that and you fancy coming and joining us for that, there's always a couple of spare tickets at the end. Very happy if anyone's interested. It's in Stratford-on-Avon this year. We're about 250 recruitment leaders together for 2 days. It's an amazing couple of days. We pay for the hotel, the bar bill, everything. It's incredible stuff going on. We've got an amazing lineup. So if any of you are interested in really taking a step out of your business, having a bit of a deep dive into what's really going on, then let me know, and we'll see if we can get you in one of those rooms at the retreat coming up in a couple of weeks' time. All this stuff I'm talking about and all the slides from today and the recording today will be up on the TRN World platform as always, which you can access via the desktop or via the app. As per usual. And then just to remind you, a bit of fun outside of the sort of the business stuff we do as a community. There's a bunch of other fun things happening. So we've got Friday, 11th September is the inaugural Rashes, which we've got 2 T20 cricket matches happening for in the recruitment sector. It's going to be really exciting. We've got some celebrities turning up as well. That's in High Wycombe, and a beautiful cricket ground if any of you are interested in joining us for that. We've got our paddle championships coming on at the moment. We've got the Recruitment Open Golf Day, which is the day after the retreat on the 1st of July up at the Oxfordshire. And again, I don't know why I'm doing this again because it almost killed me last time. We've got the Spirit of Ryan Rugby Cup coming up again later on this year as well. So if you play any of those sports and you want to come and join other recruitment leaders and business owners, get involved in that, come and join us. It's a lot of fun, and it's all for charity as always, raising money. On top of that, for those of you who know what my Quest challenge was last year, which is ultratry.co.uk, I'm doing another one next year. And if any of you want to come and join me, you are more than welcome to do so for a leg or two or the whole thing if you fancy it. So there's some stuff outside of the day-to-day work stuff. We very much focus on work hard, play hard at TRN. And if any of you are up for that and fancy doing some of those things, then obviously get involved as well at the same sort of time. Okay, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. So this AI stuff, why are we talking about it in the first place? What's going on? The reality is we're going through a bit of an revolution as an industry. The industry is transforming and changing massively. There's a whole bunch of different market forces that are impacting our businesses right now. And the question is not about how do we survive right now. That we've had that question for the last couple of years. I think we've all figured that bit out. The question is now, how do we rebuild the agencies that we want so we can really capitalize on the marketplace? So that's what we're talking about a lot with members at the moment. If you think about it, I don't think there's ever been a time when I've worked in the industry we've had so many different forces pushing on us and our businesses, all this change that's happening across the global trade and economy, our workforce, the behaviours and skill shortages, technology and AI that we're going to talk about, and so on and so forth. There's so much stuff happening that's really impacting your business that you need to understand, but B, most importantly, use as a really exciting opportunity, I think, to go and take market share from the rest of the market while the rest of the market is trying to figure out what is actually going on. So this is an exciting time. What's holding you back right now? What's holding most people back typically when we go through a period of significant change is defining what is possible right now in this type of market and then bloody well getting on with it and just doing something about it. And that's a big reason why across the AI world, there's a lot of people who are very different scores out of 10 around their AI AI ability. Some are 10, they're flying, they're building stuff and doing crazy cool things. Some are still really trying to figure out what AI even means, and everywhere in between. So you've got to get on with this now. It's so important. And we've been really driving this agenda now for the last 3 years to make sure our members are staying well ahead of the game. What we do know is happening, and Goldman Sachs were talking about this fairly recently, that there is an AI infrastructure boom happening. A lot of the entry level roles are being exposed right now. So will they be around in sort of 12 months' time? Probably not in many cases, which does beg the question where the future leaders of tomorrow are going to come from. Nobody knows if you're taking out that entry level. But what we also know as well, that those jobs that are being replaced at the moment aren't just being replaced by AI, they're also being replaced by physical labor. So new jobs are being created because of the AI revolution. And also Sam Altman, who I'm sure you're familiar with, we'll talk about later on, is the CEO of OpenAI. Basically, he said this jobs apocalypse that he forecasted sort of a couple of years ago that everyone panicked about hasn't happened and won't happen, because what they didn't really factor in, if we're honest about it, is that post-COVID desire for human interaction. So when we're talking about AI, it's not here to replace jobs. Let's just change the narrative on that. It's here to supercharge and superpower the right jobs, and the wrong jobs will probably just be made obsolete and will just go away a little bit. But people aligned with AI is the journey, is the strategy. That's important for you to understand internally in your own businesses, but also when you're talking to your customers as well about their AI strategy at the same time. There are 3 agency types at the moment. I won't go into detail this. I'll do a whole course and a session on this around these different agency types. But the 3 agency types at the moment are those recruitment companies who are sort of struggling. They're ones who are rebuilding. And then what we're referring to as the super agencies. And I've got some amazing examples of what those super agencies, they look like, what they're doing differently, and how they're getting market share. And again, come on to one of my sessions around that to find out a bit more about it. But if you look at the 3 different agencies, you've got recruitment companies and recruiters, for that matter, who are struggling. They're still working really, really hard. They're hustling away, but the model's just tired now. It's just not working as well as it used to. They haven't got much pipeline. They haven't really got that client control anymore. And the performance is really up and down, lots of feast to famine, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got those struggling agencies. You've got the rebuilding agencies, which are the ones who have gone through a period of change. They've realized that the old model needs to evolve, not necessarily be completely different, but just evolve and keep up. And they're starting to use AI, they're starting to use tech, their systems are becoming more influential in how they're working, and they're really starting to drive growth in margin and productivity. So that's great, and we're seeing a lot more of that happening over the course of the last 3 or 4 months or so, et cetera, which is fantastic. And then we're seeing these super agencies, and these are the ones who are really, really optimized now. They've got a clear market position, they've got great client and candidate loyalty, their consultants are almost like acting like consultants and advisors at last, rather than just order takers. And AI and tech and data is really driving their day-to-day workflows and how they make their decisions moving forward. So they have this lovely engine, this operating rhythm that's really consistent behind the scenes. So again, obviously what we're doing at the moment with all the members is helping them move from left to right if they are on the left-hand side, or if they're on the right-hand side, how to really capitalize on the market now and go and take market share. I really want all TRM members to become super agencies in 2026, and we're really working hard to make that happen, and we're seeing it already, which is great. So we know this stuff works. AI and technology obviously is a big part of that process, which is what we'll touch on now. So that's why we talk about these things, and that's why in all our programs, Pinnacle, Traction, Social Scaling, Velocity, AI sits at the heart of a lot of this. It's not to replace the human stuff. In essence, what a lot of this stuff does, allow you to be more human, so you can do the stuff that really pushes the needle as much as anything else. But you cannot do these things now without AI factored in quite significantly as part of that process. And all our playbooks and guides and courses now incorporate AI into that sort of process. When we're looking at AI, a lot of it is what people are doing at the moment is bolting a lot of stuff on into their businesses. So buy a new AI tool, build this, do that. There's lots of bolting on, okay? And a lot of talking about what we should start doing more of this, start using Claude, start using ChatGPT, agents, etc. You should also be thinking about what you should stop doing as well. It's a really important question because AI can help you stop doing some of the things that are just time wasting. Often we do things in a business because we've always done them. It got us to a certain point. At the moment, a lot of those things that got us to this point aren't necessarily the things that are going to allow us to keep moving in the future. So think about what you should stop doing as much as what you should start doing. And then
Where does AI fit into this? There's a program I'm running at the moment with a lot of the members, which is all around this repositioning, repurposing, restructuring of our businesses to make sure we are super fit and future fit and future relevant. And it's a bit like a Kodak moment. Those of you who are quite young, you might even remember Kodak, but it's a bit like a Kodak moment. And the reality is Kodak didn't fail because it missed a tech. And actually, they actually created one of the first digital cameras. But Kodak failed because it couldn't let go of the original business model that made it successful. So when you're thinking about your plans for your business into the summer and going into the back end of this year, or second half of this year, think about your positioning, your purpose, your customers, the products you're taking to market, how you're selling, how you're going to market, how you're using data and intelligence, the org structure of your business. And then obviously underpinning all of this will be your technology stack, because tech now can impact AI, can now impact all of these areas. And that's why it's so important to have an AI strategy rather than just AI hype. It's important to have AI processes rather than just AI tools kicking in. You've also got to remember as well that if you look at your business models moving forward, come out the back end of this year, you won't see a traditional org chart in a recruitment company anymore. And what you're going to start seeing is where tech and AI are working hand in hand together. People and AI are working hand in hand together. That's why Adecco launched Our Potential with Salesforce. So they came together to create Our Potential as a business, where they're now placing contract people, humans, contractors, like we normally do, but they're also playing contract AI agents and worker bots at the same time. For some of you, that's quite hard to even understand conceptually. But imagine now you're placing contract workers and contract worker bots together. That's a really interesting proposition. It will become the norm moving forward, just to make it really, really clear. And Adecco have already jumped on that bandwagon last year, and hence they launched Our Potential. Look at an org chart, look at your business and decide what your business needs to look like. It's a blend of AI and worker bots, a blend of people, maybe offshore people as well as onshore people. This is a typical, I think, sort of 15, 20 person recruitment company org chart in today's market. So you've got your people in the office in your orange and your blue. You've got your people maybe offshored in the grey, where it's low cost but higher value. And then you've actually got agents in the org chart. So I've got an agent who does my PSL work. I've got an agent who does my data. I've got an agent who does my job scraping, etc., etc. So you treat them almost like people within your business. You give them tasks, you give them KPIs, you measure their performance, and so on and so forth. It sounds a really bizarre thing to say, but when you start seeing these AI agents and these worker bots as almost like people with a task to do in your company, everything changes about how you build agents and the impact they actually have within your business. So that will make sense. Just give me a quick thumbs up in the chat to let me know I'm making some semblance of sense here and you get what I'm sort of coming from. And then I'm going to show you obviously now what you actually do about it. But hopefully you're getting where I'm coming from with this and how this evolution or this revolution is starting to manifest now a little bit differently maybe than what we were used to as an industry. Okay, good. I've got a couple of you give me thumbs up. So at least three of you are with me, which is great. All right, cool. With all of this, obviously, you do need to also think about the rise of the super recruiter. So the skills of a recruiter in today's market, and a recruitment leader for that matter as well. But again, that's going to evolve and be different, right? So there's no doubt in my mind that the top circle here, the human skills, are more important now than ever before. So trust, influence, empathy, all that type of stuff. So we've got to be really bloody brilliant at having people in our business who do those. We've got to have the consultative skills. We know that, especially if we're going to be driving the Pinnacle program and selling more of that high value embedded type stuff. But then also we've got to have the skills around technology. So how to utilize, understand, play with, manipulate AI and automations and create digital workflows at will and so on and so forth. So these are different skill sets now for a recruiter, which I think is quite interesting. I'm not sure necessarily we have enough of these skills within our industry at the moment. So there's definitely going to be a big training need coming out over the course of the next sort of 3 to 6 months about getting more people to have more of these skills and understand it a bit better. What are we using AI for? Well, I mean, pretty much everything at the moment. I work with so many different recruitment businesses who are doing so many different things with AI. Some of them amazing. Some of it will blow your mind. Some of it's a bit basic or whatever, but it works. But all the stuff you're seeing on the screen here, I'm presuming all of you, or I'm hoping all of you are either doing, I've got agents doing it for you, or it's on your agenda to do. If you're not, you're probably a little bit behind the 8 ball. So let's go and play catch up pretty damn quick, because all of this stuff is fairly easy to do now, and actually is the sort of stuff that actually compounded together really does move the needle a little bit and makes it pretty impressive for your recruiters. I was chatting to one of the members this morning and they were talking about what the average GP of a recruiter is in this market. and how that's changing. One of the reasons why that's changing in our average expectations of a recruiter is no longer that average 120K, it's more like 180K now, is because fundamentally, if you're doing your AI piece right, you're creating far more space for your people within your business to do their best work, to make money, in essence. So therefore, your expectations of what good looks like has to evolve, has to change. Can't help thinking probably your commission structure needs to change with it, and the KPIs that you're setting needs to change with that as well. Because ultimately, and I've been using this now, this image for a couple of years, this, what you're seeing on the screen, is sort of what recruiters do, if we're very simple about it. 80% of their time is doing the admin of recruitment. So I'm writing an email campaign, I'm generating new leads, I'm building job adverts, I'm doing market maps, I'm writing pitches for clients, and so it goes on. And only 20% of the time that we have left is spent doing the stuff that really makes money, getting in front of clients, having meetings, getting out and about there, winning good business, networking, and all that sort of good stuff. So the stuff on the right-hand side is actually really important, but the reality is we have so much other stuff on the left-hand side to do that we just don't get enough time to do the stuff on the right-hand side. Or some cases, some recruiters use it as an excuse not to do the stuff on the right-hand side because I don't really want to do it. I'm too busy doing the stuff on the left-hand side. That needs to change. We know that, and we're already seeing that change in some of the businesses we're working with. Whereas if you can flip that 80-20 rule on its head, where actually a recruiter now is spending 20% of their time doing the admin because they're using AI to do it. They're just managing the workflows and the AI agents they built to do that stuff for them. It frees them up 80% of their time to do the human stuff of recruitment. That's why AI is humanizing recruitment. Sounds completely counterintuitive. Get it right, it really, really is. And we know in the world of antitrust at the moment that being more human builds trust, and builds trust gives you market share. So this is where it plays really, really nicely. So that's how I want you to think about your AI strategy, is how it's humanizing recruitment within your business, how it's freeing up your recruiters, and if it does, how our expectations are going to change. Because 4 times more activity using AI and automations could, in theory, mean 4 times the net contribution you're currently getting. That's bloody exciting when you think about it. And that's how I want you to think about it. Think about productivity as creating more capacity. Capacity creates more optionality. The question then becomes, obviously, if AI is giving every recruiter in your business back 10 hours a week, brilliant. What are they going to do with that 10 hours a week? And that's the important question, which is how we drive the sales strategy and so on and so forth. So just think a little bit about that. And certainly the super agencies that we're working with are doing some really cool stuff now, because they've almost got out of the way of their recruiters to get on and do some, really build strong relationships, produce market intelligence to take to market, create recurring revenue models, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So have a little think about that. When your AI strategy is in play, please start with your CRM. I say this to everyone. There's a lot of people at the moment building a hell of a lot of stuff that they don't need, or buying in a lot of stuff they don't need. Start with your CRM. You've all got a CRM. You're all aligned to your CRM. It should become your single source of truth. And ultimately, you're paying quite a lot of money for your CRM. The CRM providers are all trying to up their game now when it comes to AI. Either the new ones coming onto the market who are fully AI'd up, or the existing ones that have always been around are now really upping their game about how to bring AI into their platforms, etc. But start with your CRM first. Get your money's worth out of what you're already paying. Classic example of that, I talk about this quite a bit, but this is one of the members that we were working with. This is 18 months worth of placement data. And over that 18-month period, they did 421 placements across their business over 18 months. When we looked at where do those candidates come from, 366, so equivalent of 87% of those candidates came from either LinkedIn or from job boards. So that's where they got the candidates from. But when we reran that report to identify how many of those candidates were actually already on their CRM, 78% of them were already on the CRM. So that's insane when you think about it. So that's another reason why you always go CRM first. The habits in your business need to be CRM first, and your tech is exactly the same thing. Okay. Once you've done that, then everything else is all about, let's go and build some stuff. Let's go and maybe buy in stuff if you need it. But ultimately, let's go and build some really cool agents to do all the things that we want them to be able to do. That thing I just shown you, by the way, that comes into our candidate pool playbook. If any of you want a copy of that, just give us a yes or a thumbs up or something in the chat, and I'll send you a copy of our candidate pool playbook. It works brilliantly well, by the way, as a way of using candidates as an asset to make more placements and win more business, just to let you know, sort of stuff. So it's quite a useful playbook for you if any of you are interested in that. Okay, cool. So let's move on to now building our AI plan and building some AI. Keep it nice and simple for the sake of today. Imagine you've got 3 buckets within your business. Everything you do as a company, every component of your different workflows should sit in one of these three buckets. Either you're going to keep it human, which is great, and that's going to be your people doing it. We're going to do loads more of it. We're going to automate an AI and make it a total replacement. So AI is just going to take over and we're never going to do it again as a human. Or it's going to sit in that middle bucket, which is it's human, but we're going to augment it with AI, which means we're going to be able to 10 times it now using AI sitting behind the scenes. Okay, so just imagine every component of your business, every workflow will fit into one of those three buckets in essence. For those of you who have done this with me already, you'll know what I'm talking about here, but this is our Project Automate program that we created about 18 months ago. The one on the right-hand side is actually an example of one of our members, Project Automate, where we've mapped out and built out their entire workflow as a business. And now what we're doing is we're bringing that into Project Automate to understand which of those parts of their workflow can we automate, how are we going to do it, using the CRM, building otherwise, how much time is it going to save, etc. And it becomes like this really nice ongoing live checklist of things we're now slowly building in different agents to do different things for, etc. Again, if you're not doing Project Automate, do it. It's a brilliant way to take a step back from your business and really understand where AI is going to push the needle as much as anything else. And you can then go and build your own stuff. This is my agent hub where I build all my agents. I've got about 350 or so agents doing different things. I can obviously share these with members and share the prompts and so on and so forth, etc. You'll have your own version of this, I'm sure, but ultimately that's what every recruiter will end up having is their own agent hub doing their own stuff with all their agents running in the background doing different things for them. Ultimately, what we're doing here are building these sort of AI-first recruitment flows or workflows. So it's not about hype, not about prompts. It's about time, output, impact it's actually making. So that's how you sort of build out Project Automate. Map out a workflow, work out what we should automate, work out what we should keep human, and then go and build, if you need to, around each of those different things. Nice and simple process, and you get the idea, and so it goes on. We need to get our recruiters spending less time on their low-value work and translating that into high-value work where we can get far better net contribution and growth and profitability out of our recruiters. And that's the whole point of this story right now. I'll show you a couple of quick examples. Again, some of you may have seen this before, some of you may be on top of all this, so I don't know. But let's just presume you don't. Here's a couple of examples of how you can bring AI into your business. We've been talking a lot recently about ambulance chasing. There's a lot of recruiters who are running around chasing up jobs at the moment, live job boards, etc., just trying to win business. That's called ambulance chasing. It's not the most effective way of doing BD. It does work, but it's pretty tough. What we say to our members is actually, well, rather than chase live vacancies, why don't you identify hiring triggers that will demonstrate there probably will be a vacancy in 30, 60, 90 days time, as an example. So you can start building AI agents whose job is to identify, watch the market, watch your clients, and identify when one of your clients has one of those hiring triggers. It will then notify you and say there's an opportunity to come up, a new opportunity for some leads, go and pick up the phone and go and have a call with them. So that's the idea behind it. So how do you do that? Well, you build an agent to do it. This is Charlie. He's one of the agents I built for one of the members over in Ireland. Charlie's job is to look at office leases. Bit random, but actually if Charlie notifies me that one of my target customers in a particular geographical location have got 45 staff based on what's on LinkedIn, but have just signed an office space that seats 110 people, I can't help thinking in the next couple of months they're going to start hiring. Fairly obvious thing to say, but actually if you're notified of this stuff and it's properly done through the agents, it becomes really quite interesting because you're well ahead of the rest of the market again, while the rest of the market are waiting for the live vacancies to come out to do their ambulance chasing. So you build an agent like Charlie, it lives on your computer, and Charlie's job every single day without asking it to do it is scraping and pulling data and identifying office hiring triggers for you. So this is Charlie. I can send you a copy of Charlie if any of you want a copy of him, by the way. Just give me a yes in the chat and we'll send you actually a link to Charlie and you can download him yourself and you can own it and you can use it yourself if you want. It's no big deal. But you can build your own Charlies as well. This is getting a weird conversation, isn't it? You can build your own Charlies as well if you want to. But ultimately, this is what you're seeing on the screen here. It's very, very easy to build and very simple, but it does move the needle. It finds you jobs and opportunities, so why wouldn't you do it? So this is Charlie. Let's say I get Charlie going. In this case, I'm going to manually use him. I'm going to type in London leases. I type in London leases. Charlie now produces for me a list of all these different places and companies that have just taken on new office space, for example. Nothing rocket science about that, nothing flash about that, but actually it can make quite an impact. If you can pick up one job from Visa because they just moved into a new HQ, then blimey hell, why would you not want to get on the phone and chat to them about that? Type in Manchester leases, I get even pictures of what the office looks like. How nice is that? So you get the idea and see how that works. Greg, to your question, what did I use to build him? This particular example, I just used ChatGPT. Really simple. So that's a ChatGPT agent, which I'm going to show you in a second. And it took me literally probably about 5 minutes to build. Not complicated. Imagine you got 100 Charlies running in the background of your business, potentially all doing something. Sometimes they might work, sometimes they might not work. But if they're working, they work really, really well. So great question based on that is have a think. And this is coming out of our Velocity program. Our BD program, have a think about some of those hiring triggers that you should be monitoring. You can see a list here of about a dozen or so different hiring triggers. And in theory, you could build an agent in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever agent LLM you want to use to do these things for you in the background, running in the background. Does that make sense? So understand the process. What am I trying to do? Build a hiring trigger agent and then go and build the bloody thing. And the next thing you know, you've now got this thing running in the background. It's a free employee. Doesn't take, someone said to me the other day, last week at the conference, doesn't take sick leave, doesn't have any baggage, can't even sue you for unfair dismissal. Although I am convinced at some point we will see a sexual discrimination case between an AI agent and a human in a workplace. That would be bizarre, but there, we'll see what happens about that one. Okay, cool. So they're the principles behind all this. So let me just very quickly show you, and hopefully to your question, Greg, how I built it. Let me just very quickly show you how to build an agent. So I want to make this practical today, so you can actually go and build your own agents if you want to. So I'm going to very quickly just do one. I'll use ChatGPT because everyone knows ChatGPT. That's easy. Doesn't matter what LLM you're using, what system you're using, whether you're using Claude or Copilot, etc. They're all, the principles are all exactly the same. But just for the sake of today, I use ChatGPT. And what we're going to do is build a thing called a GPT. And a GPT in ChatGPT is like an agent. The way most people use ChatGPT or Claude at the moment, they chat to it. You have a chat with it. You ask it a question. I want to book a holiday, less than 10 grand, want to be in the sun, don't like children, needs to be within 3 hours, flying distance type thing. And ChatGPT will go and create a nice list for you. That's a chat. A GPT is like an agent that you get to teach it to do certain things. And then once you've built it, that's what we call Copilot. You can then get it to be fully automated, which is what we call autopilot. So basically I can build an agent to do something and I can then click on it and run it. Or I can build it and get it to run it at certain times of the day, or when it sees certain triggers. That's called an autopilot. Okay, and that's what we've been building through the traction program with the members, moving from Copilot to autopilot and so on and so forth. So if you're going to build an agent, let's say very quickly on ChatGPT, let's say you want to build a recruitment resourcing agent. You could define it like, okay, so there's a role. So what's the role? I want you to find new candidates for open roles. What's the input? Well, I'm going to input into you a job title, the location, the keywords, and experience level. You will then follow a process, which is to search the job board, scrape some profiles, and summarize some candidates for me. And then the output of what I'm expecting to see back from you, agent, is a short list with all the suitability notes and some contact information as well. And then if you want to run it as a Copilot agent, then you go for, hey, find me 5 senior Java developers in Manchester with AWS experience, and then off it goes and it runs, but it runs against your preset logic. Does that make sense? So that's what you're sort of building as a Copilot, as a sort of a worker bot that's sitting next to you that you can push a button and ask it to go and do something for you. That's the step. This is the very basic level of obviously understanding AI, but I hope to get everyone to sort of that place. There's lots of things that you can configure when you're building your AI agents in any of the LLMs, based around knowledge, tools, and memory. Do you want it to memorize stuff or not memorize stuff? Think about that from a GDPR point of view, automations and so on and so forth. Again, I won't go into detail for the sake of today. Come on the traction course and you'll see actually how to do this from start to finish and build them properly. But let's very quickly build an agent in front of you so you just roughly see how I'm doing it. Again, I'll do it fairly quickly. Watch the recording back later and get my slides and you can see this in more detail. But just so we're all in the same place. So I'm going into ChatGPT. I'm going to identify the area on my left-hand side of my ChatGPT where it's GPTs, and a page will come up like this where I've got the opportunity now to create. You see the top right corner, it says create. So I'm now in a creating GPT mode. So basically I want to build a GPT. I'm not having a chat. I want to build a GPT. I'm going to build a worker bot or an agent to go and do a particular task. So then you literally follow the blocks step by step. So what you're seeing on the left-hand side is almost like a back-end form that I'm filling out. As I'm filling it out, it builds it on the right-hand side in front of you. That's sort of pretty cool, right? So you can see it building out as you go. So let's complete the form. There's a plus there. That's where you can put a picture of your agent. Always put a picture in and then give it a name. Let's call this one Percy, the lead generator. It doesn't matter what you call it. I always give them names because then when you've got lots of them, it's actually quite easy to index and understand who does what and where they are and so on and so forth. So the first thing I'm going to do is just fill in the pictures and type in a name. I'm then going to give it a description. That's me teaching it. So when I look at it again, it reminds me what it does. And then you go into the instructions box, and that's where you teach it what you want it to do and what you don't want it to do as well. In the instructions box, that's where we call prompting goes. So that's where you do your prompting. And you've all heard, I'm sure, the expression prompting. Every recruiter, every business, everyone in the world needs to be good at prompting, and to be honest about it. It's just a normal thing that you need to understand if you want to build proper agents. When people say to you, oh, this AI agent's rubbish, or ChatGPT doesn't work very well because it hallucinates, what they're actually saying is they haven't prompted it properly, so therefore the AI agent is trying to figure out what to do, and it's not figuring out in the way that you want to do it. So if you teach it properly, you prompt it properly, it won't hallucinate and it will work brilliantly well. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've got my Percy lead generator agent. I've given it a description, and I'm now going to teach it what I want it to do. And then in there, I'm going to write all the instructions. Now, don't worry what I've written in there for now. I'll show you exactly what that looks like in a second. Underneath that, you have a thing called conversation starters, which are like quick start buttons to get your GPT running and doing certain things. You have an area called knowledge, if I scroll down, where I can upload files. So if I'm building out an agent, that I can upload a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document or some information to teach my agent what I want it to do. So think about it as if it was a human being. If I'm asking it to go and hunt for me lots of job opportunities from my ideal target customer base, then I can't help thinking what you want to do is upload a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet of all of your target customers. That goes in there. So rather than looking for random companies, it's specifically going to look for the companies that you've told it to look for. Does that make sense? Or if I'm doing a BD process or a BD agent that's doing lots of sales activity, I might upload my sales manual so I can teach it how we do sales in our business, because that's how I want them to do the sales process, and so on and so forth. So the knowledge section is actually very important because you can teach your agents so they really understand things. There's different types of models with AI. I would suggest leave it as recommended model for now, or no recommended model for that matter. Again, we'll talk about that another time in detail, what each of the models do, but just leave it as it is for no recommended. And then the capabilities, you can tell it what you want it to do or not want to do. For example, if I untick web search, then it won't go out to the internet to get an answer. It will go to a document or a file or somewhere else to get the answer. So in some cases, I don't want my AI agents to pull back lots of random stuff from the internet. I want them just to pull it from a document or a file or a folder of content, and so on and so forth. And so you go. So you fill all that out. So literally you start from the top and you fill it all out, tick by bit by bit, off you go. And then when you get to when you finish that, at the top right-hand corner, you'll see a button that says create, and you click on create, and it will ask you, do you want to make it private? Do you want to make it shareable, or do you want to make it public? If it's private, only you can use it. If it's public, anyone can search for it. And if it's shareable, it means people can only use it if you send them a link to it, basically. So I make all of my GPTs or my agents shareable, so I can then share them with members of TRN and stuff. So I share them with other recruiters, etc. So I click shareable, I click on create, and then there we go. It looks like that. It builds it and it looks like that. That now sits on the left-hand side in my ChatGPT as one of my agents. And it does its job. I can trigger it, I can automate it, etc., etc., etc. But in principle, just to build the agent is that simple to do. Does that all make sense, everyone? Those of you who haven't done this before, I know for some of you it might be a little bit too basic potentially, but hopefully you get the point of what we're trying to build here. It's not complicated if you just get your head around it and understand the principles behind it. So there's Charlie, the one we talked about before, and off I can run. There's another one called my TRN Market Pulse agent that maps out markets for me, and so on and so forth. Greg saying too simple, hopefully in a positive way, Greg, too simple. Not as in it's not too simple for you, but it's too simple, which is great. But you can build and build and build on these agents as much as you like, and really have some fun with this. A couple of things to remind people: if you are building AI, you have to personalize it. You have to clone yourself as much as you can. So basically cloning it means you're teaching it who you are. So it understands you, behaves like you, thinks like you, etc. Again, most people haven't bothered doing this, which is sort of madness because you wonder why it doesn't work very well. Classic example, if I go really basic, if you're asking it to write a blog post or a newsletter for your LinkedIn, etc., every week, and it comes back with lots of those M dashes or uses Zs rather than S's, and even though if you're in the UK, or every third sentence it's a something, comma, and something type rhythm, that's AI built, etc. That's because you haven't told it not to do that. So it just does it for you automatically. So you have to personalize it and do it in the way that it should be done. Okay, cool. Greg, you've asked a quick question there. Have you seen any preference from Claude on ChatGPT or others for the agents? Where is your preference? So obviously what's happened recently is everyone's jumping on the Claude bandwagon because Claude has really upped its game a little bit against OpenAI. Don't worry, ChatGPT will come back as well. In the Traction program, we actually teach people how to do a thing called daisy chaining, which is a concept that we came up with, which is basically I now get different AI agents to link together and daisy chain together to do different things. So for some task, I really like ChatGPT. I think it's brilliant, especially for building my agents that have a specific role to play. When that agent runs, the output of that agent is then daisy chained into Claude, because I think Claude is sometimes better at producing the output, the content, the design stuff, etc. So actually, in answer to your question, I actually use both. I use ChatGPT and Claude concurrently together. I think they have different benefits and strengths and weaknesses. And if I use both of them for their strengths, I can daisy chain them, link them together. So I hope that makes some sense. Again, there's lots of other ones obviously coming on the market as well, but the principles is what I would share with that. So we talk about this in the social scaling program as well, and this cloning personalization piece as well, which you'll see on the TRM World platform. Lots of ways that you can clone yourself, personalize it. The easiest way is just to go into ChatGPT, click on customize ChatGPT. It gives you a box and you teach it a little bit about yourself, where you're based. I'm in UK, I'm in London, I use English, not American because I'm English, etc., and so on and so forth. You get the idea. So that's the most simplistic way of doing it. The other way of doing it is you actually build an agent, which is your sales clone or your clone. So good recruiters now, I've got half a dozen clones. So they've got their sales clone, their recruiter clone, et cetera, et cetera. So whenever they're doing anything from a BD point of view, they'll go into their sales clone that they've already trained and personalized to be brilliant and very much like them. So when they're using it, it then does things in that particular way. Yeah, does that make sense? So that's how I would suggest it. Mark, to your question about what's the best license for a sub 10 recruiter business, I think, and the models we've created with the members is one person in your business. I think if let's say you're using ChatGPT, one person in your business needs to have the paid personal version of ChatGPT, which is the $16 a month version, and they're the ones that are building the agents. And then all your rest of your team can have the free version, but obviously we're sharing those agents with the people, and they can save them with them. So have one person who's building, that you're paying for, $16 a month, not a lot of money. Then you can have control over the quality and everything else. That person builds the agents and then shares them with the other 9 people across your business, or how many people you've got across your business. They can then save those agents and then run those agents and use those in the background as well. So that way you're only spending $16 across 8, 9, 10 people across your business. You don't need to spend lots of money on this. That's the whole point. That's obviously with ChatGPT as well. So that's my sales clone I just mentioned. Again, how did I build that? Exactly the same way I just showed you. Build it out there. You can see me building it out as we go, etc., etc. The bit in the instructions, that's the prompting bit that we talked about before. Again, just to be really clear, a prompt is not 3 or 4 lines. You're a BD specialist, go and find me leads, off you go. You need to be really in depth with your instructions. Teach it what you want it to do and what you don't want it to do. So if I just show you, these are the instructions for my BD agent. As you can see, it's quite a lot in here. So I really thought hard about what I'm writing in, how we're doing it, and so on and so forth. That's my prompt. When you're doing prompting, just understand the principles of prompting. I won't go through this in detail now. I'll share these slides with you and you can see how you do it. But a prompt is a technique of how to basically write instructions in a way that AI will really understand it. So write me a job ad is not a prompt. Writing, you're a recruiter copywriter, the role is this, do that, is not a prompt. This is all basic level stuff. It will hallucinate, it will get it wrong. What you do is you follow a very simple framework. There's 3 or 4 different frameworks I would recommend. I'm going to show you 2 now specifically. But in principle, in simplistic terms, here's a very basic prompting framework called RICO. R is the role. So who is it? You're going to be a business development specialist in recruitment, targeting tech firms or whatever you do. I is the input, so what am I going to give it to tell it to do? C is the constraint, what I don't want it to do. So for example, if you're creating an agent that is scraping job boards for you or putting in live vacancies, tell it, don't bring back live vacancies from other recruitment companies. So I don't want to see that. I want to see ones from end users type thing. And then output, what are you actually expecting to see back? An Excel spreadsheet with a list of names, email addresses, telephone numbers. I'm expecting to see a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document, or I'm expecting you to create a link into another document. You get the idea. So you teach it, you follow a framework step by step, and then you complete it, and that's how you build the instructions. The two that I use are BRTF and Risen. I train this on the Traction program, and these are, again, simple frameworks to when you're building out your instructions for your prompts, and you just follow these step by step as you go. BRTF, background, request, tone, and format. And here's a couple of examples, BRTF prompts that you could use and just get an idea of. This one's for an opportunity radar. And then Risen, same principle, just slightly more in depth. And again, you can see some example Risen prompts in my slides when I send those across to you here. So here's a couple. And you can copy these and have a go yourself and try this out and then adapt them to your markets and so on and so forth. So hopefully that will make sense. But there's a lot more to prompting, obviously, than just what I've just shown you. But the principle is what I need you to understand. You have to do this properly, otherwise it just doesn't work. And then that's why people get put off. Obviously, you can be creative with this. I created an agent called Paolo. Paolo is a prompt agent. So what you tell Paolo what you want to build as an agent, Paolo is then being trained as the ultimate prompt engineer to create the perfect prompt for you to build your agent. You copy and paste that and off you go. So if any of you want to copy a Paolo, just give me a yes or a thumbs up in the chat, and I will send you through Paolo, and you can have a go with Paolo and try Paolo out for yourself. So again, simple methodologies, right? But you're just playing the system here and understanding how it sort of tends to work, and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. So that's Paolo as an example. That's prompting as an example. Very, very basic, but hopefully you're giving you some ideas to sort of think about here. And here's Paolo. I want to build a resourcing agent to find me talent. Paolo then goes and writes this brilliant prompt that we know is really, really good, and we know works really well with the AI LLM systems. I copy and paste that, create my agent like I did before, and off we go. We build the agent out in exactly the same sort of way, and there's the agent, job done sort of thing. But I know it's going to work brilliantly well because Paolo's been trained to prompt like an expert, and so on and so forth. And again, so it goes on. We've got a load of cheat sheets around this and stuff. So if any of you want copies of this, obviously let me know. I'm very happy to share it with you. It's not a problem at all. So there's a bunch of stuff I covered off there. Obviously, there's so much you could talk about with AI, and that's why we built the Traction program. But I'm just trying to get you thinking in some cases about how simple this is actually, and then how far you can potentially take it. Just crack on with this stuff. It's not complicated. Where do you start with all this? I mean, there's obviously lots of things you could do. I would say anyone should always start with Project Automate. So if that's where I come into your business and basically for free as a member and just go through your business and look at your automation processes and build out the strategy with you. So we can really go and do some stuff here and really move the needle. So I would start with Project Automate first and foremost. Think about on Project Automate, what are the things internally we want to do better? So I want to really move the needle around my systems and processes and drive increase in consultant productivity, et cetera, but I'm also going to think about some things I can use from an external point of view, because in the Traction program, we're now building AI agents that are generating new revenue streams for the members. So you might want to use AI to build new products and services as much around as it is around bringing in new jobs and all that type of stuff as well. So there's sort of two sides to this story. Both sides are really obviously pretty interesting if you get the piece right as well. I'll definitely recommend coming on the AI Traction course. Again, it's free for members. There's no charge or anything. 4-week program, once a week, every Friday morning. And we're building stuff. You're live in front of you and you're building really cool things. I'm showing you some really cool tools that other people haven't seen before. And it will blow your mind, some of the stuff that you can create and build with some of these things. And then now what we're doing with the members is really trying to move you, as I said, from that co-pilot into autopilot and then into mission control. And mission control is this new thing that we're driving now, which is where you've actually got a series of AI agents that are working in the background live automatically, but they're also feeding back and improving continuously themselves, which is what makes it a mission control. So you've got this ever improving suite of agents that are really, really starting to push the needle as well. And I'm working with a couple of members on this at the moment, so I'll give you some ideas. And then you can start building some really cool stuff. This is one of the AI systems that we built with one of the members. And they built this in about 2 hours using AI, didn't cost them a penny, and they've gone out to market with this toolkit to allow customers to look at market intelligence, look at their employer brand positioning, look at pipeline health, productivity, all this type of stuff. It's absolutely amazing. And bear in mind, they just built this for, in a couple of hours for no money whatsoever. Pretty impressive stuff when you think about it. You can now do this with AI in seconds, which is the exciting piece. So go back to how we started today. Hopefully that's given you some stuff to think about. You've got 90 days. I would do everything in 90-day sprints. So let's get on with this now. Stop talking about it. You got the point. AI is here to stay. Let's crack on. You've got 90 days. What are you going to do to your business to rebuild it if you need to, or certainly involve it so it's future fit and future relevant? And AI is sitting at the heart of that. We've got a program that I run called the Accelerator Program. It's a toolkit that sits behind it. As you can see, everything's in 90-day sprints. So in this next 90-day sprint, where is AI going to be touching your strategy, your marketing, your candidate, your team building, et cetera, et cetera? What does that look like? What are you actually going to do? And then obviously we work with you on that sprint plan as well. So put a plan in place, get on with it. A good sprint now is now until the end of the summer. So you've now got AI actually impacting and moving the needle within your business and driving growth and productivity and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. I hope that's been useful. Just give me a yes or a thumbs up if that has been useful. I know some of you on the call are at different layers and different levels and that type of stuff. Totally understand that. But just want to make sure it was a useful exercise for half an hour or so and give you a few things to think about. Not rocket science, I don't think, but there's a bit of science behind it. We'll share with you a copy of the slides from today. As I say, we've recorded today as well, so that will be up on the TRM World platform. If you need anything, obviously, if you're a member, you need anything, just reach out to us. If you're not a member, want to get involved, obviously come and get involved as much as you can as well. A lot of really cool stuff going on. I'm very happy to share whatever you need to help push the needle. But the most important thing is you don't now just wait and see what happens. You go and get on with this now, because the opportunity is huge if you take it now, I think, to get first mover advantage. And it still is first mover advantage in this marketplace, as you would have saw with the scores you're all giving it, 2 and 3s out of 10, not enough at this point. Wonderful. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Lovely to see you all as always, and look forward to catching you on the next one or one of the next TRN member meetups. Thanks everyone. Take care. Cheers.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the TRN podcast. Thank you for listening. And make sure you grab the free episode toolkit. All the links are in the description. And click follow in your podcast app so you can get notified of our next episode. If you want to get more out of your business and your people, then please unlock 30 days from our platform, TRN World, for free. And help yourself to all our training content, our guides, our templates, and peer insights. You can get started at trnworld.com/trial. And finally, if you found this episode of the TRN podcast of use,